Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin. If you're new here, if you're not, thank you so much for stopping back by. Today I want to hopefully briefly go over my career progression and money with you so that I can give you a perspective on working in a technical career without necessarily all the crazy steps to be a data analyst, because crazy, I know, there are more than just data analysts in the technical field. So here we go. I really do want to keep this brief. So for me, my way into my technical career was I started as a data entry specialist right out of high school. I was a very smarty pants in high school. I had a 4.2 GPA. It was a lot of fun in high school. So I actually had a teacher who was a very close confidant to me. She was my rock in high school, I guess. She knew I came from a rough background and that my parents had no connections or no real ability to help me move up. So she was there and she helped me get this job as a data entry specialist. So I will forever be very grateful for her. And so I ended up being a data entry specialist at a university for 3 summers, the summer after high school. And then the following 2 summers during college, I worked for $10 an hour, 12, then 13 at those jobs. And they were very basic data entry jobs. It was working with Excel and student financial aid profiles. So lots of copying and pasting, lots of just checking, just data accuracy checking, making sure that things were getting put in correctly onto their aid profiles, because y'all know students do not want the wrong numbers in those loans. If you add 1 0, they're gonna lose their minds. So I did a lot of accuracy checking, quality control, and then I did later on at maybe the 3rd summer, I was doing a little bit of automation work with iMacros, which was really cool. So learned lots of skills. But again, it was a very low level job, entry level, did not need experience, just needed to be able to learn to use Excel very, very well. And at this day and age, I don't know anybody who can't learn Excel. Come on. I didn't need to know crazy formulas, none of that. I just needed to be able to navigate a computer. That was it. So very low level. Next up, while I was in college, I was lucky enough, one of my roommates got a job at the tech support department of the university, and she helped me get a job there too. So again, I used a connection. Both of these times I got lucky and got connected to a position that was really helpful. So, forever grateful for that person as well. I started as what I would call more of a junior technical support specialist. I say junior because I was doing very tier 1 desktop support, and I didn't know much about it before I started. But then I became more of a supervisor in that role. So I went from making the bare minimum $7.25 an hour to roughly $8, $8.50-ish by the time I was done being a supervisor. What I did as a supervisor was supervise the low-level supports and then also do classroom management on classroom technology like projectors and sound systems. And then I moved up into a slightly higher level support, but the reason it was higher level was high traffic. I was just in high traffic zones, so I was helping more people per day. It was still mostly tier 1 support, maybe 1.5 occasionally. I wouldn't go so far as to say I really did much tier 2 support at all, very occasionally. And by the time I ended at that job at the end of college, after 3.5 years, I was making about $9.50 an hour. That was part-time, very part-time, very normal wages for a student. That was a work study. That's why it was so low. I was not full-time. So all that being said, those were my 2 jobs that were on my resume the day I graduated college. What I went to college for, this is where you're going to be like, okay, you didn't break into tech. I know I didn't. I went to school for computer and information technology. I knew I was going to go into tech. My degree program was a very, very in-depth and variety of topics. So I did learn C#, Java for coding for object-oriented programming. That's building software. I did take a statistics class, but I did not learn R or Python. I stayed very low level in statistics. I learned SQL and QBE. I was using softwares like Microsoft Access and Oracle and MySQL Server. So all those good things. I did networking. One class, I did one cybersecurity class, and I stayed away from those for the rest of my life, hopefully. And then I did a lot of systems analysis and design and project management. So my degree could have filtered me into software engineering, software development, data analytics, database admin, business analyst, project management type roles, anything really, anything. So I say all that to say my degree program was more in depth than programs I have heard of elsewhere. So I wanted to specify that is why I do feel that a lot of my cohort, students in my class, did go on to very technical careers, and they're very successful because that foundation that they had in that bachelor's degree was very strong. Now, if you go to a 2-year program, it might be more specific to one area that I talked about. So you might do a 2-year program in coding, and you learn all about coding, but you don't know much about databases. That's very normal. So if you are someone wanting to go get that educational background in technology, I would just recommend make sure you know what the classes are that you're going to take and know what you're learning in those classes before you pay your money, because you want to make sure that whatever you're learning is going to coincide with the jobs that you're trying to get. So with that, I graduated from IT at Purdue University, and I wanted to come home. I did not want to move out of state to pursue jobs in cities, and you all may know we did not have remote work at the time, so it was very move to the place that had the job, and that was cities. I'm not a city girl. I'm just not a city girl. We have 5 acres and a lake, and we live 20 minutes from any kind of grocery store. So I'm not a city gal. So I did want to move home. I wanted to stay in Indiana, and so I was looking for jobs in that vein. I ended up LinkedIn easy applying to this job and totally forgot that I applied. I get a call. Hey, I saw your resume. Do you want to interview for this job? And I was like, heck yes, I do. So I looked up the company again, reminded myself why I applied for the job in the first place, and ended up landing that job. It was a very local job, very close to home. But the company itself was actually much larger than I thought. It wasn't a small company. They just happened to have a location near me, which was fantastic. So with that, I became a technical support analyst 2. I was not a 1, I was a 2. And the reason for that being I had support experience, data entry experience, and a degree. So that is why I was made a 2 instead of a 1 when I started. And I started at only $39,000. It was not some crazy, amazing tech salary, but I was in tech, and the company I work for is a tech company. So really, really great. From day one, my manager was like, this is an entry-level job, and you can do anything you want from here. This job lets you dabble in anything you want to dabble in, development, data, support, management type of work. You can go anywhere from this role. And they told me that on day 1. So there was a lot of career development happening behind the scenes while I was doing my job and learning how to do my job. So after a year, they did a market increase. I didn't have to ask for this. They bumped me to $50,000, and I was still a 2. After that next year, they bumped me with a cost of living increase. Again, I didn't have to ask for $1,200, and that was fantastic. At that point, that's when I was like, I really need to figure out what I want to do next, because it's time. So I really hit the pavement hard on learning new skills and figuring out what I wanted to do. They allowed me to do projects for other teams, and kind of get my hands dirty in very different topics, which was really cool. After that, after my 3rd year, at the end of my 3rd year, they did another market increase that I did not have to ask for, and bumped me from $51,200 to $58,000, which was absolutely fantastic. And at that point, that was when I was like, okay, I can do this job for at most 1 more year. I'm burned out. I'm done with this role. I have learned everything there is in this role, and I'm tired. And I think that's very normal for somebody who's been in the same role for 4 years, especially an entry-level role. If you're a smart cookie in an entry-level role for 4 years, you'll get bored. You will. Don't lie. You're gonna get bored. So even though I was making good money, I was like, I gotta move up. It's been long enough. I need to move up. So I started looking in 2022 for new jobs, but I was trying to get into HR. I had done an HR certification in 2021, and I was like, I'm going to move into HR. That did not happen for me because my resume says you're a tech girl, not an HR gal. So I did not have any luck with HR positions. So I started just expanding my horizons, saying, you know what, I don't have to go into HR. I just need to find a job that fits my skills and has things that I like about the job. So I ended up applying to 27 jobs in 2022, which I know is not that many compared to some other people's job search. So I am sorry if you've had a rough go of it. But I got lucky. I applied internally to an implementation consultant role, and I got it. I had a great phone interview with the recruiter. She moved me along to the manager. And as soon as I had that meeting, I just knew, I was like, I want to be on this team. Like, this manager is awesome. She is, well, first of all, a she. I'll tell you what, I've worked with a lot of men. So it was fabulous to see another female manager. My first manager was a woman as well, which, I think that's why we connected so much. Also because we're both small town gals. But anyway, yeah, so the manager that interviewed me, I felt like we had a great interview. The energy was right for me. Like I really felt good about it. And then I had another interview with the manager that I would actually be working directly under, and she was awesome. Like she's the nicest person I've probably ever met. And I also got to meet some team members in the interview process, and it just fit. Like I just knew this was the team I wanted to work with. But again, I wasn't really sure what the job was, and now that I've started the job, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I'm learning Linux. I did 2 weeks of Linux in college, and now I'm learning it for realsy reals. I work with data a lot, but it's not too nitty gritty. So it's not data analytics. I work with clients, but not too much. It's like the perfect balance of all the things that I was doing before that I liked about my other job. So love this job, and I took it for $68,000. So I got a $10,000 increase, moved internally, which meant that I kept all of my benefits. Nothing has changed benefit-wise, and I am officially a home-based employee. So everything's coming up daisies for me, okay? So I'm doing good. But all that to say, I feel very grateful. I am lucky to have had the educational background, to have had the situation where I was able to go from high school to college and do that. But if you don't, or if you didn't, like I said, data entry jobs, you don't need anything to get them. Get good internet, fast typing speed, which you can work on for free. There are free typing programs online. So, get good at data entry specialist work, get one of those jobs, and that's a great resume builder, an absolute fabulous resume builder. I've seen data entry specialist jobs nowadays being posted between 15 and 20 an hour. So not too bad. If you're still young and maybe you have a dual income household, maybe you have a partner, then 15 to 20 might cut it for you long enough to get some experience with data entry. Also low-level tech support jobs, so technical support specialists, technical support analysts. You can look for junior or entry level or one as the preceding text around those positions, and that will help you find those entry level ones. There's also tech support consultant. Sometimes companies call it an associate or a consultant. Those can be entry level. It depends on if you have any customer support experience. And most people can say that they have customer support experience, even if it wasn't a customer support rep. You probably did customer support in some way, shape, or form, whether you were a waitress, whether you worked at Dick's Sporting Goods or not. Most people have that experience. So yeah, if you don't feel like you can be a technical support specialist, go be a customer support specialist for a tech company. So a company that is doing some sort of software where they're calling and asking for help logging in, asking for help navigating a website. That type of work is very low level tech support work. So once you do that, you can then move into tech support and start making a little bit more money. And once you do some tech support, you can move into data analytics, business analyst, all kinds of stuff. So that is what I would recommend doing, because then you don't have to go back to school. You don't have to do these certifications to get into it. You can get into it right now. It might take you a little longer to move up the pay scale, but that's what I've done, and it's great. Love it. Love my company. I have enjoyed the process and the career progression. I am now 4 years into my professional career, so it's going good. If you have any questions about anything I went over today, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll happily further discuss. But yeah, good luck to all you people trying to get into a technical career. I believe in you. It is possible, and just keep trying. Have a great morning, noon, or night, whatever it is for you.